The Chitrik Academy is dedicated in loving memory of Rabbi Tzvi Hirsh Chitrik.
Welcome to today's lesson. Today we are going to learn from the two dots, Rabbi Yehuda Eimer, until on the next page, on the top of Chav Tes Amar Aleph, Ella Amar Abaya. The line starts V'ziku. In today's lesson, we are going to learn about the end of the Mishnah where it says Rabbi Yehuda Eimer. So let us go back and take a look at the Mishnah. The Mishnah on Chav Tes Amar Aleph says that if someone's kad, his jug, broke in Shus Rabim, and then someone slipped on it or was hit by the pieces, they will be chayiv. It doesn't say who said this statement, but the rule is that whenever it says it's stam, whenever it doesn't say the name of the author, it is Rabbi Meir. So Rabbi Meir over here, this Rabbi Meir is the one who says, is the author of the beginning of the Mishnah. He says a person is always responsible for his objects if someone tripped on it in Rishus Rabim, or if it hit someone. Rabbi Yehuda, on the other hand, made an interesting statement. He said, "B'miskavin chayev," if the person had in mind, then he will be chayev. He will be responsible if his jug fell on the floor and someone either tripped on it or was hurt by the shards. However, be'ein miskavin, if he did not have in mind, then he will be pater. He will not be responsible. Today we are going to discuss what does it mean miskavin or ein miskavin. Let us go to our Gemara on Chav Ches Amud Beis. So let's see that by the dot. Rabbi Yehuda Eimer b'miskavin chayev v'chula. So the Gemara asks, Hechi dami miskavin. So let's make a question mark over here. The question starts over here. Hechi dami miskavin. What does it mean? How is it miskavin if a person has in mind? What is Rabbi Yehuda referring to? So we're going to see in general in the Gemara two answers. We're going to start off with Rabbah, and in the next lesson we'll discuss Abaya's answer. Amar Rabbah, so Rabbah is giving an answer. So let's put an A on this line to show this answer as well. Amar Rabbah says, B'miskavin lo hirida, when a person has a mind to take it down, lamata miksefai, down from his shoulder, that is what it means miskavin. What does this mean? Let's go to our board. Our Mishnah, Rabbi Yehuda, discusses two cases. In the first case, which is the case over here, is when a person is carrying a jug and he has a mind to take it down from his shoulder. He wants to put it down on the floor. And on the way, as it's coming down, it bangs against the wall and then it breaks. So because this person had in mind to take it down, in this case, Rabbi Yehuda will say, the person is chayiv. He will be responsible to pay. However, in a case where the person was holding the jug in his hands, and he did not have in mind to put it down, it just broke in his own hands, in this case, Rabbi Yehuda would say that the person is pater. He's not responsible if it breaks and falls on the floor. However, in this case, because miskavin, because the person had in mind to put it down, in such a case, Rabbi Yehuda would say the person is chayiv. So this is what it says in the Mishnah, these two cases, what Rabbi Yehuda says, that b'miskavin, if the person had in mind to take it down, then he'll be responsible, but if he was not miskavin, it broke while it was in his hand, then Rabbi Yehuda says he will be pater. So this is how Rabbah explains the Mishnah. Now let us continue with the Gemara. Amar le Abaya told Rabbah, Michlal de Mechayev Rabbi Meir. From what you say, it sounds that Meir would be Mechayev, Afilu Nifshara, even if it broke in the person's hand when the person did not have in mind to put it down. Because as we just said, Rabbi Yehuda would say that in this case, where it broke while it was in his hands, while it was in his arms, then it'll be pater. And Rabbi Yehuda is arguing on Rabbi Meir. So it seems like Rabbi Meir would say in this case, the person would be chayiv. So let's write this down. It seems like the Rabbi Meir would say in this same case that the person would be chayiv. So Abaya is surprised. He says, would Rabbi Meir really say such a thing? Would Rabbi Meir say that in this case he'll be chayiv? So this is Abaya's question to Rabba. And Amar Lei, Rabba answers to Abaya, yes. Michayev hayir Rameir would make the person chayev, afilu azna b'yadai, even if the handle is still in the person's hand and it broke in midair. This is a Rabba's answer, that even if it broke while the person was holding it, he's only left with the azna, he's only left with the handle of the jug, Rameir would make the person chayev. So let's see this in our Mishnah. Rameir says a person is always chayev if his jug fell on the floor, and it doesn't matter when. It doesn't matter if it broke while he was trying to place it on the floor, or if it broke while he was holding it. And Rabbi Yehuda will say that no, only b'miskaven, if he had a mind to place it on the floor, he'll be chayev. But be'ein miskaven, if he did not have a mind to place it on the floor, it broke while it was in his hand, potter, he will be potter. So this is the machoikis, according to Rabbah, in this case between Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Meir. Now let's go back to the Gemara. Now Abaya is continuing to ask Rabbah, Amai, why would Rameir say that in such a case where a person did not have in mind to put down the jug, that he'll be chayiv? Anusu, this person was a'inus, it was unintentional. V'a'inus, and a person who does something unintentional, rachmana patre, the Torah makes the person pater, not responsible for his actions because it was a mistake. Where do we see that the Torah says that if someone was an einus, unintentional, or was forced, it was beyond their control, that they'll be pater? Because it says in a pasuk, V'lanaira lo yisasa davar. If a person forces a naira, a woman who is engaged, to have improper relationships, so the woman, lo yisasa davar, she is not punished. The man gets killed for doing this avera, but a naira, the woman, lo yisasa davar, would not be killed because it was not her fault, because she was forced. So we see from here that the Torah, Rachmana means the Torah, Rachmana means Hashem, does not make someone who did something unintentional, he does not hold them responsible. So in this case as well, in our case where the jug shattered while he was holding it, he should also be pater. Would a mayor say should be chayiv? Why should be chayiv? It was a einus, and the einus, the Torah says that person is pater. So this is Abaya's question to Rabbah. And now Abaya is going to say you can't try to answer it a different way, in a certain way. What is this? Let's see. V'chi tema. And if you want to say that we can't bring a proof that everywhere the Torah says that a einus, someone who did something unintentional, will not be responsible, from this pasuk of this woman. Why not? V'chi tema. And if you try to answer that hanimili, when does the Torah make the person who did something ba'inus, unintentionally, that they'll be pater, they won't be responsible? Hanimili linikatola. Maybe only in a case where the person shouldn't get killed, like in the case of this woman, then we say that the woman does not get killed. Avu'ini nizakin, but when it comes to damages, chayiv. Maybe the Torah would say, in such a case, the person would be responsible. So what Abaya is telling Rabbah is that I just brought a proof that a einus will always be pater, from the case of the woman, that she does not get killed if someone has improper relationships. Now maybe that is only that person, a woman. Maybe the Torah says a person is pater in the case of einus if the other person would get killed. But if it's to pay for damages, maybe the Torah would say that she is chayiv, that the person is chayiv, and maybe in this case the mayor would say the person is chayiv. So this seems like a good answer. However, Abaya is going to say explain why this is not a good answer. He's going to explain this from a brisa. So this part over here, from V'chi tema, is a fake answer. It's an answer that Abaya is telling Rabbah that it's not a real answer. So let's put it as a, so we should know that the question starts over here, and this false answer starts here. So let's call it a FA. It's a false answer. That way we can know where that didn't come out very clear. Let me try to rewrite that. So we can know that this is all part of Abaya's question to Rabbah. And he disproves this answer from this brisa. So we'll make a D for disproving it from this brisa. The brisa is going to speak about 3 cases, and the proof is from the third one. So let's see. V'atanya, it says in a brisa, case number 1. Nishbara kadai v'leisokai, if someone's jug broke in Shus Rabim and he did not take it away, or nafal gamlai, or his camel fell down, v'loi hamidai, and he did not get his camel to stand up, and someone hurt themselves over it, Rameir mechayev, Rameir makes the person responsible bezeikan if someone hurts themselves over either the broken jug or the camel. V'chachamim maimrim, however the chachamim will say, now we're going to turn the page to Chav Tes Amud Aleph, that pater medini adam, the person will be pater in such a case. However, v'chayev bin din hashamayim, however, min hashamayim he could be punished, but he will be pater in this case. This is the end of case number 1 of the brisa. Let's see this on our board. Case number 1 is that if a person dropped a jug or any other keli in Shus Rabim and it broke, or a camel, his camel sat down and he did not lift the camel, and then someone came along and injured themselves over the camel or over the broken jug, then a mayor will say that the owner will be chayiv, the person whose camel it is or whose jug it is, he'll be responsible. The chachamim will say that pater, the person will not be owner will not be responsible. However, chaim din shmayim, but morally, ethically, he should be the one to he should pay. This is case number 1 of the brisa. Let's go to case number 2. Umaydim chachamim l'rameir. However, the chachamim would agree to Rameir that ba'amnei sekina masoi, if a person's stone or knife or package or suitcase shenicham b'reish gagai, that they place on top of a roof, v'nafloi beruach mitzuya, and an average wind, a regular wind came and blew them off the roof, v'zikai, and it hurt someone. So in this case, shuchayev, everyone agrees that the person who placed his items on the roof will be responsible. So let's see the second case. It's the second and third case. In a case where a person placed either a knife or a suitcase or a rock on a roof, and a regular wind came along and blew them off and hurt someone standing on the bottom, let's say this one over here, who got hurt by these items, everyone, kulei alma, will say that the person who placed them will be chayiv. Now let's see case number 3 in the brisa. Case number 3. Umayde Rameir Rabbanan, and Rameir will agree to the Rabbanim, to the Chachamim, b'mayla kankanim al gag, if someone placed jugs on top of a roof, Amanasa Nagvan, he wanted them to dry out from the sun on the roof, v'naflu, and they fell off the roof, b'ruach she'ena matzuya, it was a wind which is uncommon. Generally, a person can place their jugs on the roof, and nothing will happen to it. It won't get blown off because they're heavy enough. However, b'ruach she'ena matzuya, a wind which is not common, a very strong wind came along and blew off his jugs, v'zikoi, and it hurt someone, shu pater, the person will not be responsible. Let's see this case on the board. In such a case where the jug was put on the roof and there was very strong winds, everyone will hold the person is pater because it was an ainis. This is the proof. Because the person was an ainis, he placed his jugs on the roof and it was fine. Regular winds would not blow them down. However, because the person was an ainis and only strong winds came later on, therefore everyone holds that he will be pater. So we see from this last case of the brisa that even when it comes to not death, not when a person when it comes to a person should get killed or not. Even when it comes to damages, the Torah will say pater. So this is a question on Rabbah, who said that a mayor would say that oinus would be chayiv, where here we see that a mayor would say the oinus would be pater. So this is how we're going to end this lesson, that how Abaya disproves Rabbah's explanation of what does it mean in our Mishnah, miskaven or in miskaven. Abaya tried to explain that it meant if the person in mind to take it off his shoulder or not. That is how Rabbah tried to explain it. And Abaya says this cannot be the explanation because the Meir would not say that in this case the person would be chayiv. And this is the end of this lesson.